You are listening to the Young Black Travelers Podcast. Black voices chatting on experiential travel, dedicated to creating a global community of travelers. Be bold, be inspired, be spontaneous. We are YBT.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are back as Young Black Travelers. This is season 8. We are talking to Donald. We're going to talk about his South Africa experience and any other travel that he wants to tell us about. Tell us, Donald, about yourself. Who are you?
So good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Shout out to this amazing podcast, Young Black Travelers. My name is Donald Garner, and Dr. Donald Garner, if you want to be formal. But for the purposes of today, we're going to do Donald. I am a native of Houston, Texas, and I grew up on a big, beautiful farm in Central Florida, in a city called Ocala, Florida, which is about 40 minutes from Orlando. So shout out to Texas and Florida. And
Ooh.
I've been in New York City for 13 years. And so I am uh, the biggest lover of New York City, the Big Apple. I traded my big country lifestyle for the Big Apple. So again, just excited to be here today and have this conversation with you about my travel to South Africa and everything else in between.
Yes, we're excited. I actually have family in Ocala, actually.
What?
So that's, yeah. And I feel like most people don't really say they live in Ocala.
What?
But you're here
I'm
now.
here.
Welcome to
That's
welcome
pretty
to New York
cool.
City.
That is very cool.
Yes, yes.
Very cool.
So thank you for introducing yourself. So can you just tell us a little bit about where did your love of travel begin?
So interestingly enough, growing up in the South, especially in Florida, we didn't put emphasis on family vacations because everybody, Simone, came to the beach, right? I grew up
Mm-hmm.
about 45 minutes near Daytona Beach. So, we were always in the place where everybody, quote unquote, wanted to be. And so,
Right.
up until, so I went through, my childhood, young adulthood, I went to college in Tallahassee, Florida. I worked about 5 years after undergrad before moving to New York City. So all that being said, most of my life and then up until my mid 20s, I never took vacations. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't travel, and it was in 2012 while at lunch with my coworkers. It was August of 2012. Everybody, Simone, was talking about where they were going on vacation, Brazil, this place,
Mm-hmm.
that place, and everyone assumed that I had traveled. I was getting my PhD, and I've done this and I've done that. So I decided to you know um, really just burst the bubble, in the room, and I was like, I've never traveled out the country, and so my college
Yeah.
was like a movie, right? Everybody stood still, and they were like, okay, never say that again.
Don't say it out
Don't say
loud.
it out loud. You're too educated for you not to have traveled. And literally the
Mm-hmm.
very next week, one of my colleagues walked me to where I needed to fill out my passport, and it took about, 6 to 8 weeks. And it would be another 2 years after that that I finally took
Mm-hmm.
my first trip to Jamaica. So, so
Oh,
I'm a,
I'm from Jamaica, so
hey,
hello.
cool.
Yes,
So
awesome.
it took a long time before I actually traveled as a young adult, as a young professional. So I'm a newbie, if you will, and I've made it a priority, nearly every year since that first trip to go out the country. So I have a pretty unique
And I
story.
love that you said that. Yeah, because sometimes I think um, you sharing that you started traveling as an older adult, I think is very inspiring for a lot of people who feel like, oh no, I don't have time, or it's I'm out of it. But it's never too late to kind of start and to explore. And I also think too, like, even though you might not have had abroad experiences, right? Being a traveler is also local
Yeah,
and exploring
that's
your
true.
community and what is around
That's
you,
true.
right? So I feel like you're always a traveler. It's
True.
just now you're expanding your boundaries of what you're
Beautifully
doing. So
stated.
I love
Beautifully.
that. And for anyone that's listening, get that
Yeah,
passport if you
get
are
that
25,
passport.
30, 40.
Yeah,
Wherever you are in your stage of life, it's never too late
absolutely.
to kind of go out and do that.
Absolutely.
So I love that. So what did you love most about your first experience? You said it was Jamaica. Like, how did that open your eyes
So,
and broaden your experience?
the same feeling that I had, and I haven't, experienced this with a lot of other spots, but the same feeling that I had when I came to New York City for the first time at 21 happened to me when I arrived to Jamaica. Um, it was for my sister's wedding from college,
Hmm.
and I had this just beautiful chill, you know, come all over my body, and I wasn't that surprised because nearly every person that I love, I have a adopted Jamaican mama, here in New York City. Most of my male
Hmm.
friends, even female friends, are from Jamaica. Um, so
Yes.
even when I was in college, I remember being asked, was I from Jamaica because I had a lot of jobs, right? So I've always been associated in some way
Uh-huh.
with that place, and so it was this beautiful cultural moment of emotion that I had, and I just remember just looking around and seeing another subset of my people, right? That
Oh,
I had
awesome.
never seen, known about. And it was just one of those eye opening moments that, yes, the world is bigger than Houston, Florida, and wherever else, you've been in the States. So it's a powerful
Yeah,
change.
no, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you had some good food, of course,
I mean, I
while you was
did. We
out there in
snuck
Jamaica.
away. We snuck away at least one night, to get the real jerk, but it was mostly, resort food while I was there for the wedding.
Yeah, okay. That means you have to go back.
Gotta go back.
Uh, you gotta go back. Well, we're going to go on a short break and then we're going to come right back and we're going to delve right into our conversation.
Awesome.
All right, everyone, welcome back. We are here talking with Donald, and I am so excited to dive right into our conversation as he shared his experience with us about his recent trip to South Africa. So, can you tell us a little bit about that experience? Why South Africa?
So I always knew at some point in my life I was going to go to South. I was going to go to Africa. I missed the boat in 2019 when, everybody went to Ghana. When it was the road to return or something. I forget I forget the movement what it was called, but I was slated to go. Just things did not work out. And so,
Mhm.
as fate would have it, one of my besties, Dr. Rabiatu Berry, shout out to her, one of my favorite people from Florida State University, and she was turning 40, and so
Mhm.
we all, well, a bunch of us was put on the email thread, and when I got the email, I knew, hey, that was going to be my first opportunity to finally go to the motherland. So
Nice.
that was again this past December from
Mhm.
the 11th until about the 23rd.
Oh, nice.
I was
Okay.
gone.
So you had a good amount of
I was
time.
gone, Simone.
He was gone. I hear that. So, can you tell us a little bit about some of the cultural activities that you experience, and like the food and any of the recommendations you might have for other people.
So our trip was unique in the sense that it was highly curated, right? So uh, my friend, my bestie, really made sure that we had a intimate experience. With
Mm-hmm.
so a lot. So whereas we would have gone to so many different restaurants every day, we had a built-in chef, and so and Simone, I wish I was trying to ask beforehand, some of the foods that the chef, cooked for us. I wasn't able to get that
Uh-huh.
information, but we did go out. So I spent the first 4 to 5 days in Johannesburg, and then we flew
Okay.
over to Cape Town. So
Mm.
while in Joburg, in terms of like cultural experiences and foods, again, most of that was with our chef. But in terms of like cultural exchanges, we went to the Apartheid Museum, which
Mm.
was a riveting, sobering experience. We went out second night to a club called Cohiba. Definitely
Okay.
highly recommended. They played a nice mix of American music and Afrobeat, type vibe, which is, really, really in. I mean,
Yes.
wasn't a thing really, here in America like it has been over the past few years, couple of years. So I love
Mm-hmm.
that experience of partying, with my brothers and sisters, from Africa. So, and then we also had a tour guide take us to Soweto.
Mm-hmm.
And while there,
Okay.
we were accompanied by someone who's from that community. And one of the interesting fun facts that I would love to share is that this was
Mm-hmm.
a place that had been uh, sequestered, cut off from the local government, and
Mm-hmm.
they've been without lights and without a lot of, you know, uh, adequate housing and just, a lot of the amenities that, again, people of privilege are able to experience on an everyday basis. And
Right.
one of the highlights that the brother was telling us is that when outsiders or people come into their community, instead of them having the children, young adults beg for money, they they teach them how to draw, and so they'll come up
Mm.
to a visitor and show them their drawings and at least ask for money, for an exchange of their art. And so
Right.
we were bombarded, not bombarded, but we were presented, with that experience by a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
little ones. And I thought that was powerful. I'm glad that he gave that context, to
Right.
us as we were, purchasing their art that they were drawing, and so on and so forth. So that was a beautiful, beautiful moment. Going to Soweto. There was another school that we went to. The name escapes me, and they have been
Mm-hmm.
featured on the Oprah show for just again graduating a lot of
The girls?
no, 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 no.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
it wasn't an all girls school. It was like a
Okay.
community based school within that, and we actually stumbled across it. Um, and so that was a powerful, unexpected moment. So
Yeah.
Johannesburg, gave us a very beautiful, grounded experience. Went to the malls and saw all of these different statues of, Nelson Mandela, and he's just, you know, um, ingrained,
Yeah.
embedded into the fiber, the DNA, of the country. Um, and then we, transitioned over, flew over into Cape Town for the latter part of our
Okay.
stay. And Cape Town, what was surprising about Cape Town, was the number of white people that I saw there.
Mm.
Again, Simona, I'm not the most educated person about who lives where and all of
Mhm.
that stuff. I just wasn't expecting to see that many white people. I just wasn't, and I
Yeah.
forgot that white people were all over the place. Um,
Yes.
and
Especially South Africa.
especially South Africa. I
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
forgot until I got there. And so Cape Town, of course, is given it's given like, uh, it's giving you the beaches and the mountains and all of that scenery that, you
Hmm.
know, would suggest and make you feel very confident that God started there to create the world, right? Like I was
Amen.
totally convinced. So while in Cape Town, of course, we went to Table Mountain. If time permitted, I would tell you how
Uh-huh.
Simone I got bamboozled by my people to do that because I do not play that with heights. I just thought we were gonna go and
So tell us about that. What is the Table Mountain you said?
yes, Table Mountain. So
Uh-huh.
Table Mountain is one of the highest mountains, in Cape Town, and we
Hmm.
rode up there on a cable car.
Okay.
And so, literally, Simone, we were 40. By the time we got all the way up to the mountain, we were 4,500 feet above sea level. Um, I
Wow.
honestly thought I was gonna die. I honestly did because I
It,
am
the air?
no, I'm just deathly afraid of
Okay.
heights.
Okay.
But
Got it.
one of my other friends who was also afraid of heights, she just was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And of course, I'm in
Uh-huh.
Africa, so I'm like, I gotta do it. So
Of
while
course.
seeing and experiencing Table Mountain, I also conquered a fear. So that
There we
was
go.
powerful. I would also say just some more highlights, cultural, highlights that
Hmm.
we went to. There's a restaurant that is very popular there called Gold Restaurant. Highly, highly recommended. There's drumming and singing,
Mm.
eating. I had this the Zanzibar tomato soup that was really good. Congo chicken. All of the meats
Yeah.
were so flavorful that I mean, I just
Love
can't
it.
go wrong on that fish soup. Uh,
Hmm.
went to Camps Bay Ocean and we had this beautiful boat cruise on the Indian Ocean. Intimate one for Rabbi and just to be in Cape Town on the ocean,
Yeah.
looking at all of the vibes and scenes. I mean, there was just too many moments where, my breath was taken away. So yeah,
That's
those
beautiful.
were we would have had, like I said, more. I would have had more recommendations to share food wise. I
Uh-huh.
had our chef. Um, but we
Okay.
did the wine tour. We did I even forgot to share that. Did the wine tour in Joburg as well as Safari. You can't go there without,
Of
not
course.
going to. And quick funny story. Rabbi told me to tell um, this podcast how I almost killed everybody um, because I was initially going to wear red because I didn't read the email,
Okay.
and of course you got to wear bland colors. So I was
Mm.
actually on the road to having all of us be destroyed by the whoever the lion.
Oh, so they see the color red is what they're attracted
Yeah,
to.
red. Any loud
Oh,
color you are not you're
okay.
not
Mm.
recommended to it. You gotta keep it, beiges, tans, that type of thing.
Okay. Gotta keep it neutral.
Neutral color.
And yeah, so listeners, read your
Re-
emails. For whoever's planning your trip, read the email. Yes, yes,
Definitely have to read
definitely.
the email.
But did you get to change?
Yeah, so I, you know, I'm glad we were all having just active conversations, and I was like,
Hmm.
I forget how it came up, but it came up that the night before, no, 2 nights before, that I didn't have what I had, so we were able to go to the mall, and I had what I was supposed to have.
All right. We want to be able to just go and see the animals and come back,
Come back in one
right?
piece.
Exactly. We don't want to see you on world news and whatnot. That would have been a situation.
situation.
But I really love that, and it seemed like the tour kind of gave you a well-rounded um, kind of
Mhm,
experience to see different parts of South Africa.
mhm,
And so, my question for you also is, as a person of color, as a Black man, how did you experience South Africa in your identity? And did you feel like that ever played a role in how you interacted with people? Or just in general, like, did that consciousness ever come to you while you were
mhm,
there? And how did that affect your experience?
mhm. I think that's an excellent question. The best way I can describe that feeling that I had while there is like, going to a family reunion.
Yes.
And going to one of my many family reunions that you get to the place and you all know that you're cousins, you know that you're
Mm-hmm.
related, but you still don't
Right.
have any connection beyond just the knowledge that you're related. So there's usually in the room that awkwardness, that tension of
Right.
and so what I encountered as a black man was never a feeling of hate. It was just
Mm.
this profound like sadness and just um and this curiosity, like I want to know you, but I
Mm.
just don't have enough time right now to get to know you. I know we're related. I know we're cousins, but
Yeah.
our lives is just so different at this point. We just have to keep it moving. So it was a lot of
Yeah.
it was about 40%. I got about 60% of that, from
Mm.
the everyday exchanges. Again, nothing bad, but it was just like these deep stares, like, "Hey, cousin,"
Yeah.
but
That head nod. Did you do
yeah,
the head nod?
yeah,
Like,
not,
see?
so they know,
Yeah.
so we're not,
Mhm.
they know we're not strangers, not stranger danger.
Right.
And then it was about
Right.
40% of welcome home, brother.
Mm.
Can't wait for you to come back. So glad you finally made it. See you. So,
Yes.
so it was it made me happy and sad, that
Mm.
I was experiencing both of those emotions almost at the same time every day.
Yeah, I could imagine that return, especially in seeing your people, essentially, as you said it, that family feeling, like a long lost
Yeah,
cousin or something like that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's really awesome. So, do you have plans to kind of go back, either to South Africa or the continent?
absolutely. I had said to myself and to others that I would love for most of my travels to be in Africa. I'd rather spend a lot of my time investing my money and
Your
resources
dollars? Yeah.
into the
Mm-hmm.
motherland. So
Mm-hmm.
I do think this December trip is it might be a tradition of mine. I was
Okay.
very so yes. I think I see me doing maybe East Africa next, perhaps. Um,
Okay.
and so yes, probably within the if it's not December, it'll definitely be in 2024 that I'll make another pilgrimage to.
That you make it. I love it. Love it. And so this is also a question that I just thought of as you're speaking about, like, that family feeling. And like in the US with race relations, right? And discriminatory practices and policies against Black and brown people in this country. And so did you see those type of parallels when you were in South Africa?
I did well. Yes, I mean I think about when I was in Joburg and riding around, I could still see our brothers and sisters in abject poverty. And again, especially having when you speak to your Uber drivers and even that person that was the brother that was our tour guide, he gave us fresh downloads about, how the people are still, you know, experiencing, white supremacy and there's, a bunch of governmental collusion there that even
Mm,
turns our people against each other, right? So the residue of apartheid is still there,
right.
in South Africa. And so I could see it, very quickly. Um, I
Hmm.
also asked a lot of questions about why there were so many KFCs there. Um,
Mm,
and one of the Uber drivers gave us another download, like that was, owned by a lot of Chinese people and a lot of, oh my goodness, a lot of Indian people. And
yeah.
and so again, this notion that there is colonization, happening
Hmm.
when it comes down to business and entrepreneurship and how the continent is being stimulated economically. Our people are not, we don't have fair and accurate representation, of how to also be a part of that wave, right? So it
Right.
was no different from here in the United States, where we know, 1%, who are all white men mostly, are they have the lion's share of the wealth, in
Right.
the United States. And so it was not different,
Okay.
so much in terms of the little that I heard
Is
and
able
I
to
was being
experience.
experienced.
Yes, and I think that's what kind of travel does in a sense. You make those correlations and kind of see like one story or experience is not necessarily unique to a specific place, but it kind of like shows those commonalities, right? And I think also just bring people together, right? Like you're experiencing the same type of struggle. Now, how can we build?
Yes,
How can we get stronger,
yes,
right? Because that's the idea is where there's power in strength, there's power in numbers, and in education. If I know that you're also experiencing that, now we can kind of move forward
yes.
if in what we're going to do about it.
Agreed.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break. Thank you, Donald. I know we delved deep and did light as well. And so we're going to be back. Thank you all. All right. Welcome back, young Black travelers. I'm Simone and I'm here with Donald. And he gave us, he shared his experience about being in South Africa. And I hope it's just inspiring you all to kind of just get out and travel as well, and maybe even go as well to South Africa.
Yeah,
And so, Donald, like, I got my drink here with me. Where's your drink, right? Where's your drink?
I left it, Simone. I'm slacking.
You're
I'm
slacking.
slacking.
Come
I
on.
know.
We're here talking, we're
I
having conversation.
know.
You have to have your drink the
I
next
know. I'll
time.
have it next time. I promise.
Sounds good. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So we're gonna get right back into our conversation, and I hope you guys have just been making notes of different places that Donald shared with us to go to, and one of that restaurant I think is called Gold. You
Gold.
said
Yes.
yes. So I hope you guys have been taking your notes, and so I just want to before we get into our closing conversation, I want to just shout out on IG. They're a travel company, and they are at Cape Town Travel, and they have like just rich pictures about the culture and the community and different places that you can go. So check them out on Instagram and tag us and just let them know that we sent you over there, as we like to promote and we like to celebrate what other people are doing as well. And so we're gonna do a quick game. It's called True or False. And one of them Donald actually gave you the answer. You gave the answer already, so you'll probably get this right, Donald. We'll dive right in. Okay, so true or false? South Africa is the only country in the world with 3 capital cities.
True.
Can you name them?
No.
It is true.
I know
It's true?
true.
Okay.
I know it's true.
You know it's true?
I know.
Your tour guide told you?
No, somebody in our group there who had been, she had been like 3 times.
Okay. Well, I don't want to butcher the names, but I'm going to try them anyway. So it's Pretoria, Cape Town, and Bolenforten. Yes, those are the 3 capital cities. All right, next one. The world's second heart transplant was completed in Cape Town, South Africa.
I'm gonna say true, because I think everything was originated there. It's a trailblazer country. So I'm gonna say true.
It is true. It is very true. It was in 1968. All right. So tell me this one. You're on a roll so far. Okay. You can take a leap on the world's highest bungee jump in South Africa.
False.
What do you think it is? It is false.
I don't know. I just don't feel like I don't feel like it was high enough. I didn't feel like there was anywhere. I felt like there's just higher places for that to happen.
It is. Yeah. It's in China.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I want to trip you up somewhere. All right. South Africa has 5 official languages.
I'm just gonna. This is one of those things where you just kind of do C. That I really don't know. But because it's so, I want you to at least judge my context clues that I'm trying to, my inference skills, if you will.
You can tell like you just all about the school, like you've been told.
I mean, just given that it's just so, rich with diversity and dialects, I have to say yes.
That is 5. Okay, it is not.
What?
It's false. They have 11.
What?
Even more. Yes, they have 11 official languages.
Beautiful.
Right?
I should have said
I love it.
It was enough, but yeah, beautiful.
It's a great rationale you had though, but it was a little bit more. And of course, the last one was about South Africa has wineries, and you did share with us already that you got to explore.
Y'all got to do that.
A few. How was the wine? Next time you bring the wine on, okay?
We were lit the entire day. We were so bougie and carefree that day. The weather was beautiful. They had, just all the appropriate pastries to go with the different wines that we tasted. Whole nine. That was one of our favorite days.
Oh, I love that. It seemed pretty chill.
It was.
And was the wine good?
It was top. See, it's one of those things, Simone, when and this is with anything, once you've had the best of something, it's hard to do that counterfeit stuff.
I hear that. Yeah,
that's right. I'm a newbie also when it comes out to wine and that type of thing. So, I went from, a little dab here and there to like having been fully immersed in the best of the best. So I don't know the name.
I love it.
I'm not like all of that. I'm not that guy. But I still love me a good wine situation. So, I'll drink it, but don't ask me yet to know the name because I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet. Okay, well, you're working on it.
I'm working on that.
Okay, that's good. So yes, go South Africa for the wines. All right. Yes, I love it. I love it. And so I will. I have just 2 more questions for you. about. So I know you started your journey in traveling, and you recently went to South Africa and other places that you go to. Can you tell us, like, what are some of the first things you do when you enter a new country?
The very first thing I always find myself doing is going to the gift shop and seeing like what are the artifacts that define that particular country, right? Is it a bird?
Okay.
Is it a food? What is it? And usually
Yeah.
when I go into the gift shop, I can get a good sense of what those artifacts and those symbols are. So that literally is the very first thing I always do,
Gift
without fail. It's
shopping.
almost like this subconscious, action that takes me, straight to the gift shops when I get, off the airport.
Yeah.
Or airplane.
I love that. I hear you. I feel like the first thing I do is get a map, actually,
Okay.
and I start laying out where I want to go, because I love taking public transportation when I go to a new country. So I'm learning it like on the first day of which train or bus I'm gonna take to go somewhere.
I like it.
So I hear you. Yes. And so my last question for you. So to date, what has been your fondest memory of a travel experience that you have had?
So far, I would say taking my first solo trip, which was last year when I turned 39. I went to Lisbon, and
Okay.
Portugal. I could almost see me moving there. It's just definitely having a place there. It was just, it was a really mini New York City. I was very impressed with myself to take a trip, because I'm usually not the planner when it comes down to the trips. Well, when I take all my trips are group trips that I've been on so far, so I'm the guy that just pays the money, shows up on time,
and don't read emails and show up.
And I don't read emails. I just show up, right? I'm really that guy.
Okay.
So knowing I had to do these things for myself was already a feat, right? So just being responsible around where to stay, how to navigate, was definitely a big adult, move for me. What was so great, Simone, is that I had so many people in my corner who had already gone to Lisbon that I just did everything people told me to do.
There you go.
So the trip was divine. It was lovely. Every place, every restaurant, every historical monument that was recommended for me to go see, I did it. So I would say so far that was the fondest, travel experience for me, because again, I did it myself, and I had a lot of fun with me. I had a lot of fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Yes. That's some of my best travel as well.
Take that solo trip.
Solo travel.
Take it.
Yes, take that solo trip. It's worth it.
It's worth it.
You get to learn about yourself. You do what you want when you want to do it.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I agree. So solo trips for summer 2023.
Yes, and beyond. Absolutely.
And beyond. Yes. Beyond. And beyond. Well, it was so good speaking to you, Donald, and for joining us. I appreciate it that you took the time out and talking to us about your travel experience to South Africa and all the other places that you have been able to go as well. And so thank you. Did you have any final words for our guests?
I would just say, take the time out in your life. Is not that busy for us to not expand our horizons I strongly recommend how travel can, it will unlock so many portals in your mind and your heart and your soul that you don't even realize will be unlocked, and that you don't even realize you need it to inform how you do some parts of your life and live some parts of your life. So I just say do it, because you just don't know, and you'll be beautifully surprised at how traveling will speak to your soul and to guide you in, future directions. So travel, travel, travel as best as you possibly can, and as much as you possibly can.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes. Travel, travel, travel. Well said. And I just want to remind our listeners to support our podcast by becoming a monthly contributor to continue to hear great stories like the one that was shared today by Donald. And you can simply go to anchor.fm/Young Black Travelers. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Young Black Travelers, for notifications to upcoming podcasts. And you can follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Young Black Travelers, Instagram, Young Black Travelers Blog, Twitter, YBT Blog, and our website, www.youngblacktravelers.com. And again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Donald. Be mindful of yourself in your travels. Be safe, everyone, and goodbye.
Goodbye.